So race number 2 for the Radical SR1 Cup here at Snetterton, and following the problems from Paul Pierce in race number 1, it doesn't look as though he's going to be able to make the start this time through. So it's Mark Richards and Dave Morgan that line up on pole position, Philip Thomas and Peter Tyler on row 2, and Rob Watkins, who had a poor finish in race number 1, he'll be hoping for better things. He's alongside Lewis G on the 3rd row of the grid. The red lights are about to come on. We're about to get racing back underway here at Snetterton for race number 2 of the Radical SR1 Cup, and as the lights go out, it looks as though the pole sitter Dave Morgan gets a very good start there indeed. They charge their way up towards Richie's the first corner. Dave Morgan takes the lead of the race, and Peter Tyler doing battle with Mark Richards for second place, looking as though Peter Tyler, car number 80, has made it through. There is Dave Morgan. He leads as they head up towards Montreal for the first time. The squabble for second. Peter Tyler has made it through into second place, and Rob Watkins from 5th on the grid is already up to 3rd. Everybody's safely through Montreal, despite Sam Moore's running a little bit wide there at the wheel of car number 23. And already you can start to see that white, black and red machine in the hands of Rob Watkins, looking to try and climb his way up through the order. There's number 23 having slithered his way through Montreal, carrying on Sam Moore's. But already Dave Morgan is pressing on and leading the race, and now Rob Watkins is up into second position. He's got himself ahead of the white and Dayglow machine in the hands of Peter Tyler, who's dropped down into 3rd position and is now very much coming under pressure from the number 52 car of the pole sitter Mark Richards, who hasn't had a great first half a lap but makes amends there at Oggies as he dives up the inside to retake 3rd place. So with Mark Richards safely up to 3rd, Peter Tyler's there in 4th place. It looks as though Lewis G is in 5th position, and it's Philip Thomas that completes the top 6 at this stage. But Dave Morgan, all the way from Edinburgh, the 44-year-old, pressing on, looking to try and make it a double win here at Snetterton if he can. Rob Watkins, though, car number 77, is going with him in the early stages of this race. Through Brundle and Nelson, there's a squeal of tyres, and around goes Rob Watkins from 2nd position. That drops him down into 3rd. He might even be bumped down into 4th place as Lewis G goes through, the 51-year-old from Chippenham, who currently leads the Fangio Cup, by the way. So Rob Watkins certainly dropped down into 3rd, possibly 4th, might even be 5th place if Peter Tyler was able to wiggle his way through and ahead. Let's have a quick look. There is Rob Watkins, and he's behind Lewis G, which means he just lost a couple of places there, so he's down into 4th position. A great fight going on though for 5th, 6th and 7th places, which includes Carl Wheatley, who has got not that far behind him. I think it was Sean Malone. Over the start-finish line they go. First lap of the race completed. It is Dave Morgan that is leading the race. Good battle still though beginning to form for 2nd and 3rd. Here is 4th as well, that being number 77, Rob Watkins, looking to try and make amends for what was a very poor first race where he finished down in 14th position, classified as the last of the finishers at the point at which the race was brought to a halt. And after that poor start, Rob Watkins driving the wheels off his 1340 RPE Suzuki engine machine, having to tame all 155 brake horsepower of it, sliding the car around. But that might just use up a little bit more life from those Dunlop tyres. Here's our race leader, the Scotsman Dave Morgan, still leading the race. Might mathematically lead the championship if he can have a good result here at race number 2. And Peter Tyler, the Dayglow machine, coming under enormous amounts of pressure from the car that sits behind him as well, which looked a little bit out of shape actually as it came through Oggies that time through. All gathered up, however, the rest of the field just feeding their way through onto the Bentley Straight. All of the time, whilst number 77, Rob Watkins, looks to try and close in on the car ahead. He's not as yet been able to work his way through and past Lewis G. There goes Dave Morgan in the lead of the race. Mark Richards in 2nd place. Lewis G in the gold machine in 3rd. Then it's number 77, Rob Watkins. And have we had a shuffle in the order there? Yeah, it looks as though Philip Thomas has managed to squeeze his way through and ahead of Kai Wheatley. So Philip Thomas, the 30-year-old from London, at the wheel of car number 2, goes ahead of the number 7 machine in the hands of Kai Wheatley. So the man from Surrey drops down the place. Ideal conditions here at Snetterton. Beautiful sunshine, a little bit of a breeze, which might just cause problems for the cars when they head down the back straight and they're pushing into the breeze that's hitting the front of the car. There goes number 72 as well, which is Rob Ellis at the wheel of his distinctively liveried white and orange machine. Out front all of the time whilst they squabble for positions lower down through the field is our race leader Dave Morgan. This is a battle for places lower down the top 6, and here's Peter Tyler once more, coming under what is an ever-increasing amount of pressure from Sean Maloney. who looks to try and close in on his coattails as they head through the right-hand hairpin at Montreal. Then they'll head up the short straight and in towards the left-hander at Palmer, which is where they're just turning their way through now. Just look at the train of cars that sits behind the number 2 machine in the hands of Philip Thomas. He's been kept very, very busy indeed. Mark Tishaw, car number 21, is in the mix as well. That's one big train of cars. Here is our race leader. And by the look of things, Rob Watkins is still pressing on, looking to try the 41-year-old from Amersham and make amends for that poor finish in race 1 and the poor start in race number 2. The driver that coming into this weekend was leading the championship on 149 points is in danger of going away from Snetterton, no longer at the top of the championship tables. Great squabbles further down through the order, but somebody's slowing up there and just out of shot. You could just about see the car beginning to slow, and I have a feeling that might be Kai Wheatley that's had the issue. We'll keep an eye on that and see whether he comes through at the end of this lap or not. So our race leader safely through. Mark Richards still there in second place. Still this great battle going on for third and fourth position between Lewis G and Rob Watkins, who still quite hasn't as yet been able to figure out a way through. Here's number 5, Richard Wilson. He's in a busy section of circuit. He's got Andy Chittenden ahead of him. He's got number 23, Sam Morris, right behind, Sam Moores rather. So through the bomb hole, up towards Coram, then on towards the brakes and the left-hander at Murray's. They'll thread their way. So another lap about to be chalked into the book. All of the time whilst Richard Wilson is looking to try and make up places. He's currently down in what will be 11th position, so just to the bottom of the top 10. This is Lewis G, who's being attacked by Rob Watkins, who very bravely goes around the outside at the first corner at Ritchie's and is able to work his way back into the podium places once more. So Lewis G drops down into 4th position, and now that Rob Watkins is up into 3rd, he can start to try and close the gap that exists between himself and the second place car, that being number 52, the 30-year-old from London, Mark Richards. So there is Lewis G, out of the podium places at the moment and still with some work to do. Dave Morgan still leading the race up front. Mark Richards still there in second position. There is the 3rd place car in the hands of Rob Watkins. Lewis G, Peter Tyler, and then the next of the cars, which is Sean Maloney, not that far away. They're all busy squabbling away. Here they come, 4th, 5th and 6th, all locked together. Peter Tyler at the wheel of the Dayglow car. Number 80 tries to close up as he turns his way through the right-hander at Oggies. Very easy to run wide coming out of that corner. Then it's up towards the right-hander at Williams that brings them onto the big long straight here at Snetterton, the Bentley Straight. So down the straight they'll go. Peter Tyler looking to try and pick up the slipstream, but he needs to watch his mirrors at the same time. Leading pair already through. Rob Watkins, now that he's up into 3rd place, you can see that he's already gapped the white and gold car in the hands of Lewis G. And Lewis has still got his hands fairly full, trying to keep these two guys behind. Number 80, Peter Tyler, and then number 22, Sean Maloney. So a great little trio, squabbling for 4th, 5th and 6th places. And whilst they hold each other up, it still allows Rob Watkins to pull yet further away into the distance. There goes the number 77 car of Rob Watkins. So he finished 14th in race number 1. Certainly looking for better fortunes in race number 2. Unfortunately, Paul Pearce not able to take part in his second race of the weekend following the difficulties that befell him in race number 1. Peter Tyler now coming under pressure from Sean Maloney. He's looking to try and feed a way through. He's not going to be close enough as they head up towards a very fast right-hander at Ritchie's that starts the lap here on the Snetterton 300. Is he going to be brave enough on the brakes as they head towards the hairpin at Montreal? Not quite. If anything, Peter Tyler starts to close him back onto the coattails of the white and gold machine of Lewis G. So down the short straight up towards the left-hander at Palmer. There goes the 3rd place car, Rob Watkins. You can see already the amount of daylight that he's managed to build up between himself and the car in the hands of the man from Chippenham, number 8, Lewis G. So as they head through the left-hander at Agostini and start to work their way on this infield section of the 300 circuit here at Snetterton in Norfolk. Let's have a look. Still not quite close between 1st and 2nd place. Dave Morgan leading the race, but number 52, Mark Richards, is not too far away still. He's still keeping the race 1 winner very honest. Big gap back, however, to Rob Watkins, and then we've still got this 3-car train for 4th, 5th and 6th. They're still in the same order. There's the car at the tail end of that little trio, number 22, Sean Maloney. Our race leader, already down in towards Brundle and Nelson. You can see just how close it was still. Dave Morgan and Mark Richards fighting away. And then on his own now, really, in third place, Rob Watkins, before we see this trio thereafter. The order still remaining the same, despite the fact that they are very close to each other. Nobody has yet been able to scratch their heads and try and figure out a way to outfox the car ahead. Pair safely through shot once more goes Rob Watkins. Then the cars in 4th, 5th and 6th positions respectively. Peter Tyler we're looking at, he's there in 5th position. Sean Maloney just giving him no respite whatsoever all of the time, whilst out front and leading the race is Dave Morgan. Here he is, onto the brakes, up towards Montreal, the man from Edinburgh. Long trip down towards Norfolk, but you can see just how close it is between himself and Mark Richards, who is starting to put in a charge now, trying to close the gap if at all he can. It's what, the best part of 5 or 6 radical lengths. It comes down to maybe 3 or 4 at the apexes of the corner. Pressing on is Mark Richards, throwing everything at it. There's a big spin for Sean Maloney right in front of Peter Tyler, so he had managed to squeeze his way through and take the place away from Peter Tyler. That would have given him 5th position, but he's got it all wrong at Montreal and is going to drop back down through the order once more, Sean Maloney. Still got a chunk of the race, though, to try and make amends, as the leading pair are about to head in towards the braking area for the right-hander at Oggies, and then it's up towards the right-hander at Williams. Mark Richards looking to try and apply the pressure at the wheel of his number 52 machine. Onto the coattails of the Scotsman, Dave Morgan, number 69, who came into this weekend lying second in the championship, as we say. Already claimed a win in race 1. Would dearly like to make it the double if he can. And as they head in towards the braking area, the left-hander at Brundle, the slightly tighter right-hander at Nelson. Dave Morgan is not able to get away. So through the daunting right-hander at the bomb hole they'll go. Morgan leads, Richards there in 2nd position. Trying to close in on them is Rob Watkins there in 3rd place. If these two start to squabble, it might throw a lifeline to Rob Watkins, who is desperate for championship points this weekend after what for him was a fairly uneventful race number 1, with only 14th position. Uneventful in terms of championship points, that is. So onto the centre straight they'll go, up towards the braking area for Ritchie's. The leading pair still tied together. Dave Morgan trying to pull away, Mark Richards having none of it. So onto the brakes, in towards Montreal, with only a lap or so still to go. Dave Morgan looking for the double here at Snetterton. Mark Richards looking to try and claim a victory if he can at all. For Dave Morgan, well, if he can manage to claim the victory, it would be only his 2nd victory of the season, backing up the win that he took earlier on. Peter Tyler and Lewis G are very close to each other again. Lewis G still hanging on to the position at this stage, despite Peter Tyler looking to try and squeeze his way up into 4th if he can. As our leader is just turning his way through Hamilton and up towards Oggies once more, and well, it looked as though there he was almost on his own. So Mark Richards sort of had disappeared a little bit there. Whether he's had a poor start to the lap, let's have a look. There goes our race leader, Dave Morgan, and well, Mark Richards is no longer in camera shot anymore, so he's certainly dropped away. He's lost time on this lap somewhere. So there goes Dave Morgan, and there's a big old gap before we eventually see the next car coming through. And look at the fight that's now going on for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th really, because we've got the number 2 car of Philip Thomas, who's almost managed to get himself up onto terms with the white and gold machine of Lewis G. Peter Tyler looking to try and attack Lewis G at the same time as Philip Thomas is in on the mix as well. The 3 of them almost as one turn their way in towards Brundle and Nelson. And if they start to squabble, it might bring the 4th car into the mix as well, which is not that far away, and looking to try and get in on the action too. At the moment, it's still Lewis G who's having to stick his elbows out. Here comes Dave Morgan. He's onto the brakes. He's about to turn his way out of Murray's and accelerate over the start-finish line. Dave Morgan, all the way from Edinburgh, is going to take a double victory here at Snetterton as he heads to the checkered flag. It's 2 out of 2 in the Radical SR1 Cup for Dave Morgan at Snetterton this weekend. Rob Watkins will come through and finish in 2nd position, because we thought Mark Richards had dropped away. He has dropped down into 3rd position, and look at this fight for 4th place. It is going to be Lewis G who is going to sprint towards the line and claim 4th place. over the start-finish line goes Lewis G, who will finish in 4th position. But for Dave Morgan, highly delighted is he. He will go away from Snetterton with maximum points and lead the championship.
An average day's racing. I think I have been the reason that I think also Rob hasn't had a wonderful day's racing. But it was always great fun, and battling and overtaking is what it's about, not only winning. So I had a great time.
And I think one.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I mean these guys were just on me all the time, and it was chuffed to try it again. I got a good start, got away ahead of them, and then they were gradually pulling me in. But luckily, I just had enough laps to keep ahead. They were a bit quicker, but yeah, the start won the day for me, which is great. So well chuffed. Great day's racing, great weekend. Got more tomorrow as well, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think Dave drove really well today, so congratulations on the 2 wins. But I mean, when you get in the car and you go racing, things happen, and that's what it's all about. But I was really pleased with my race, the last race.
Okay, mate, I'll ping that one straight over.
Leaving on a bit of a high, and quite looking forward to Brands.
Yeah, let's go. I'll play for in the last race.
Yeah.